Hi, my name's Alice and I'm 11 years old. My younger brother David and I live with our grandparents, and our mom and dad work overseas. We only see them in the summer. We miss them so much, of course, but we really love living together with our granny and grandpa because they love us so much. David and I are best friends. We like all the same things, music and cartoons, and we often play together too. David is my only close friend, and since he's a boy, I also have quite boyish interests. I had no idea about periods and generally how women's bodies work. Even though I was already 11, my granny never told me anything, and I didn't have a chance to speak with my mom often. We had Skype calls quite rarely, so I was absolutely unprepared for what happened to me. My granny and grandpa were out somewhere, and they were supposed to come back in the evening, so my brother and I had the whole house just for us. We watched cartoons, played, drank Coke, and enjoyed our favorite chips. It had been an amazing day, up until I started feeling unwell. My lower abdomen started hurting a lot, and I had an unpleasant feeling down there. Didn't pay much attention to it. I thought it was probably all the junk food we ate that day, so we just continued to play. After a while, I felt how it got all wet down there, and it was very uncomfortable. I tried to call my grandparents, but neither of them picked up. I paused the game and told David I'd be right back. I went to the bathroom, and once I took off my pants, I saw that everything was covered in blood. It got me terrified. I texted my mom, saying that I was bleeding down there and that Granny wasn't home, but Mom was probably busy with work because she didn't even open my message. She probably didn't even see it. I didn't know what to do, so the only thing I came up with was to stuff my panties with a lot of toilet paper and wait for my grandparents to be back. Yes, it wasn't the best decision ever, but it was better than nothing. I was too embarrassed to go out of the toilet, and once I did, my brother suddenly knew that something was wrong with me, so he asked if I was okay. I didn't say anything. He looked completely carefree playing his game, and I was counting the minutes until Granny would be back. I was brought back to reality when David suddenly screamed, "What's that?" He looked terrified, pointing at my green pants with a giant blood spot in between my legs. So the toilet paper didn't help much after all. "Alice, what's wrong with you? Gosh, why do you have so much blood there?" I started crying and told him everything. He seemed genuinely scared. Having listened to me, David took the phone and called the ambulance, and then just hugged me, saying that everything would be okay and he wouldn't let me die. We were waiting for the ambulance as if it was my last chance to stay alive. We didn't know it was just a simple period. We were sitting very close to each other and talking quietly, up until Granny and Grandpa came home. When we heard the doorknob turning, we ran to them crying and telling them everything that had happened to me. Just a couple seconds after they arrived, paramedics were knocking on our door. Granny looked surprised and asked if we had called an ambulance. Having realized what happened, our grandparents and the paramedics started laughing, and we were completely unaware of the reason why. I was dying, and there was blood, and Granny told me that it was nothing dangerous, and women have blood down there every month. David and I felt very relieved, and I went to change. Once I did, Granny had a talk with me about period and the hygiene products I would have to start using. She seemed truly sorry for not telling me about it earlier, and asked me to forgive her for that. Of course I did. We hugged, and I finally laughed over my little emergency.